let's begin. Now, we're going from multiplying and dividing fractions to adding and subtracting fractions. Clear? So there are a few preliminary things we have to do in order to make ourselves ready for that. Correct? Okay? So let's do a couple of problems in order to get ready for that transition from multiplication and division to addition and subtraction. Clear? Okay. Now, if you look at page 81, okay, number 5, okay, it says simplify. So what we're doing is we're factoring out something that's common. And what is that something that's common? For instance, let's take something like 20 over -4. Okay? And we're going to factor out something that's common. Now, what is that something that's common called?
Common factor.
It's called a common factor. Is it the lowest common factor or it's the highest common factor, correct? So how do you get the highest common factor? Do you remember how to do that? So you take 20 and you break that down into primes. Let's just do it in our heads, right? 2 times 10 and then 2 times 5, correct? So it's going to be 2, 2, 5, correct? Is that right? Yes? So it'll be 2 squared 5, correct? Okay. And then 4 is going to be 2 squared, right? So what's common? What's the greatest common factor with both? The highest common factor? 4 is the highest common, right? 4, correct? Okay, so it's going to be 2 squared, which is 4, correct? Now what do? Well, you have to say, okay, let's divide the numerator and the denominator by that number, which is 4. 2 squared is? 2 squared is? 4. So 20 divided by 4 is? 5. 4 divided by 4 is? 1. Do you have that negative still? Is that still there? Is that still there? Is it still there? Don't be afraid to answer. It's okay to be wrong, right? Yes? Is that negative sign still there? Yes, it is. Absolutely. Okay? So how can you rewrite this and make it look a little bit nicer?
-5.
-5, yes. -5. Correct? Is that okay?
Yes.
Can't you say -5 over 1, which is the same as -5? Which is the same as 5 over -1? Same thing? Yes? So just say -5, is that good? Okay. So that's that section. Yes? And let's go a little crazy. Let's go a little crazy. Let's do H, 7H. Okay? Why don't you read to me what 7H is? What's 7H?
-5 times -6 over -11 minus 4.
Is that correct? Is that right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what's the top going to be?
-13.
-13?
13.
-30?
No, 30.
You get it? Negative times a negative is a positive, right? Thank you. Nicely done. So it's going to be 30. -5 times -6 is 30, correct? What is going to be -11 minus 4?
-15. It's just 15.
we having a problem with negatives?
Negative 15.
Negative 15. Negative 15.
Remember, aren't you really combining things? Is there really such thing as subtraction? Aren't you really combining things? Aren't you combining a negative 11 and a negative 4? Aren't you combining them?
Yeah.
Correct? In other words, let's look at a number line. This is 0. This is negative 11, right? I start at negative 11, and I go which way?
That way.
I go that way, right? Don't I?
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I end up here at negative
15.
15. Think of it this way, if you want to. I have a negative 11 and a negative 4, and I combine them. What do I get?
15.
Negative 15.
I get negative 15, right? If I have a positive 11 and a positive 4, what do I get?
15.
Positive 15, right? But this way, I'm actually combining two negatives, right? Yes? Let's say I had a negative 11, and it said minus a minus 4. What would that be? Negative 11 minus a minus 4. What would that be?
15.
Wouldn't I rewrite that as plus 4,
Yes.
which is
Minus 7.
minus 9,
Minus 7. Minus 7.
minus 7? Correct? Yes? All right, so this is going to be divided by what? We haven't finished the problem yet. Minus 15. Right? So what is minus 30? I'm sorry, what is 30 minus, divided by, minus 15?
2.
No.
Negative 2.
Get you?
Minus 2.
Minus 2. Because it's going to be what? 2 over minus 1, right? Isn't it? Isn't 2 over minus 1 a minus 2? Okay. Okay. Good. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Okay. So let's do another one. All right. Let's go a little crazy now. Let's go nuts. All right. Let's do this one. This one is kind of interesting. This one's important. Let's look at problems where you go in order. Okay, for instance, here we have, it says, place these fractions in descending order. Okay? Negative 5/8, negative 1/2, negative 4/7. You can't use a calculator. Negative what? Negative 7/11. Is that right? And negative 6/13. Okay? Place those in descending order. So what's going to be the greatest one?
Minus 1, negative 1.
Negative 1 over 2.
What is it?
Negative 1 over 2.
I think.
It says descending order, so the greatest to the least.
Negative 5 over.
Which one is the greatest?
Negative 5 over 8.
Are they all negatives?
Yes.
Did I do that right?
Yes.
They're all negatives. Okay, good.
Negative 5 over 8.
Negative 5 over 8 is the
Greatest.
greatest. Is that what you're saying? You sure? It's the greatest? Okay.
4 over 7.
I'll buy that.
6 over 13 is greatest.
No, it's actually less.
Plus only 3.
4/7.
4/7.
This is the greatest.
You're having a problem, I can see that. Aren't you having a problem?
Yes.
Plus negative.
What are you going to do? What is it? I can't hear you. Who's talking? What are you going to do? Make all the denominators the same. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what's going to be the common denominator? What's going to be common among 2, 8, 7, 11, and 13? That's a tough one. Yes?
To find it out, you can plus it all together and then divide it by 5.
You can find
That's
out.
fine. That's not fine.
The lowest common multiple.
Find it out. And then we get
Find
all
the
the
lowest
same.
common
No,
multiple.
we have to multiply.
Okay, well, this is going to be good. I like this. What we'll do is we'll make this into 2 parts. We'll make this introduction to adding and subtracting, right? Fractions, part 1. And then we'll come back and we'll look to see if we have the answer. Good? It'll give you a chance to work on it yourselves. Clear? Part 1 is over. Okay, good. Excellent.
We are off.
We are off.